So this one's gonna be about personal growth and the Tools of Titan summary from the alancheng.com website. And why do I always say that? Well, I do think that it is very important that you know where I just have the stuff from, because I guess some people might be interested in actually going through the summary themselves or on their own or whatsoever, and then they just need to know where where I have it from, I guess at least. And with that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. I've nearly forgotten to say the F word, and the F word should be in every single episode. Well, probably not, I guess, but I guess this is just me, this is my style, this is how I do it, and I just see. Now there is no towel in the frame, which is great. By the way, it's pretty interesting. Now I'm pretty bright. If I go back a little bit, and then never mind. It's actually always the same. But as I've said, we're going ahead with the Tools of Titan summary, and I'm pretty fucking pumped. I'm always pumped, quite always. Actually, it is also nice to see sometimes that I'm also not pumped, or that I also cannot be pumped. In some weird way, it is actually somehow good for me to actually understand this, or to actually also kind of live this way somehow, because I see that sometimes, or I see how it is actually feeling when I'm not pretty pumped, and I'm pretty happy to be here, and I'm pretty happy to actually make the episode today. And I'm also, and this is the most important part for me, I'm also very, very happy that I can actually bring something positive to the fucking world. Because I've seen once again today that there's so much fucking negativity on this fucking planet. And it's just amazing how much fucking negativity there is, how many people actually spread fucking negativity. And I don't know if you can see this. Pretty heavy fucking pimple. But yeah, never mind. Oh, it is already there. Or there. But yeah, I think it's gonna be just a very interesting one. I hope, at least. I really hope. And yeah, I hope it doesn't disturb you that there's some text on my phone. I guess not. But now you can definitely see that I'm a little darker. Now I'm a little bit lighter. Never mind. I think that's totally fine like this. Personal growth. Overcoming procrastination. Tim Ferriss forces himself to write down 3 to 5 things that are making him the most anxious. Then he asks, if this were the only thing I accomplished today, would I be satisfied with my day? Will moving this forward make all the other to-dos unimportant or easier to do later? And then block out 2 to 3 hours to focus on one of them. So I'm gonna repeat this because I've just read it so fucking shittily. Is it an adjective? I don't fucking know. Is there anything like shittily? Doing something shittily? I think now it exists. Now it exists. So Tim Ferriss forces himself to write down 2 to 5 things that are making him the most anxious. And then he asks, if this were the only thing I accomplished today, would it be satisfying for me, or would it be satisfied with my day? Will moving this forward make all the other to-dos unimportant or easier to do later? And then he will block out 2 to 3 hours to focus on one of them. And I think the most important one to face one at a time. One of them at a time, I guess. So imagine you are below average. Derek Sivers believes this to compensate for our tendency to think we are above average or above average. I don't know. I do think there is actually a tendency that most people think they are above average, and I guess it's the same case for me. Like, I maybe even in sports, for example, think that okay, I'm better than most other people. Might be true, might not be true, and I do think it always comes up to what average you're comparing yourself to with, or something. You know, if you're just in a very sporty class, your average will be just way higher than in a non-sporty class. Well, you know, I think you know what I mean. But in the end, you should not, you should definitely not compare yourself to other people, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. It really does not make any fucking sense. At my point of view, at least. I think it's just really unnecessary. It's really unimportant, and you should rather just, focus on, getting yourself better, or just becoming better, just from year to year, from month to month, from week to week, or whatever it will be, whatever time frame you're actually choosing. Skip the MBA and learn with the 120k you would have spent. Tim Ferriss used it to invest in startups to learn about company building. To do this with any degree you're thinking of getting, convert the tuition, it's okay, I'm gonna spell it. TUITION to some change in your work or life, like working less or paying for advice. Journal to get your ideas and problems down on paper. Once we get those muddy, maddening, confusing thoughts on the page, we face our day with clearer eyes. I actually think so. And I'm very sorry that I haven't shown you the text, but I still think like this, because I guess, and this is something that is, I don't know, I'm going through so many books, just in the year or in the month or whatsoever. I sometimes forget what information is from what book, but something that I've read, it was definitely quite recently, is that we should actually write down things. It might have been actually in this summary as well, or it might have been in the Ray Dalio Principle summary, which actually was a very great one. So if you do have, multiple hours of time, I would definitely just suggest you to go through the Ray Dalio's Principle summary, also from the alanchang.com website. It is a fucking long one. It is just incredibly long, but I also think that this just, you can just really get something out of it. You really can get something out of it. You really can. Even though it's only a summary, and even though the author actually also says that you should definitely also buy the book, because it will, also be just a different experience, and also you will get more things out of the whole book than just merely the summary. But I think it just makes sense to write things down, because often we think okay, we can manage everything in our head, but in the end, it's not really the case. It really is not. And, for me, it just makes sense to write things down so that you can actually see, okay, this is on my mind, this is how I can juggle it, this is how I could put it, and whatsoever. I think it is way more easier to actually kind of, see and or also kind of manage all your thoughts that you're having if you write them down, especially if it's things you just have to remember or something, I guess, and it might even take some pressure off of you, I guess, because often when I do just have to, not forget something, I always write it down, because I often just forget it, unfortunately, and or also because of the reason that I do not want to put myself under so much pressure of actually not forgetting it. It is just somehow, it's not nerve-wracking, but it's definitely just taking up some resources and some energy that is quite unnecessary. And, it really is unnecessary. It's just a necessary loss of energy. Writing down your swirling thoughts can help you figure things out, which is actually the thing that I just wanted to say. At the very least, it helps you to get on with your day. Using the body to gauge, I think it's gauge, because I don't know, it's Gauge, a good idea. Scott Adams and BJ Novak both use the bodily reaction, adrenaline, endorphins, as a way to detect good material. So Scott Adams and BJ Novak both use the body or the bodily reaction, like adrenaline and endorphins, as a way to detect good materials. Which means, I really assume now, if somebody just comes up to them and tells them about a new idea or something, and if they just get a adrenaline or endorphin rush, I think they're just really kind of just happy about the idea or something. It really sounds strange, and it really also feels like it's not a good advice. And it definitely reminds me on Gary Vee, because he once, I don't know, he might be just explaining it a little bit more often, but he definitely once explained why he is really forcing himself to actually give people advice they can work on or they can execute on. Because the thing is, for example, he always gets goosebumps on certain occasions. But it's not a good tip to actually be like, okay, get goosebumps. It's not a good tip. It really is fucking not a good tip. And he doesn't do that. And I think actually this is one of these tips. Just get an adrenaline rush or just get an endorphin rush to detect good material. For sure, I understand what they're saying, and it's just something everybody can get. And goosebumps because of certain things, okay, we get goosebumps when it's cold, but not just all the fucking time. Like, I still understand it. I still understand his body to some degree. But this is, I think, just one of these. But how you think about this, would actually be interesting. Put it down in the comments. Would be very interesting. Become a double, triple threat. What the fuck? Scott Adams' advice: it's very hard to be the best in the world at one specific thing, like the top NBA player. But you can easily become very good, which is top 25%, at 2 or more things and combine them to get to great effect. Yeah, definitely, I guess. And this is definitely kind of just the opposite of what a lot of people are talking about. Like the whole, focus on one thing, focus on the one important thing, which is something that I do get. I really get it. I just understand it, and I just, know, it makes sense. It really makes sense focusing on one thing at a time so that you can actually put all your energy into this one thing. The problem I'm having with this is that, for example, people like me do not want to do one thing all the fucking time. Like, I guess I wouldn't actually like to do only the posts for Instagram and other social media platforms. But I guess I also wouldn't like to only make the podcast episodes. So, what should I do? I just do both. I want to juggle things. I don't want to do just various things. And I've also been thinking about actually making some music, because this is actually something that I'm pretty interested in, and it would also be great. It would really be great. The problem there is, time management. It clearly is time management, because I do just not know how I should manage it, obviously. So I don't know. I really don't. But I think it's just something you have to think about. And also I think, if you do just have multiple passions, I guess passions, if this is actually an English word, I don't fucking know, then you should definitely go for both of them, or 3 of them, or 4 of them, because why not? Why not? Why don't juggle a lot of things? Sometimes one of the balls will fall, and this is then a little unfortunate, but it's for the sake of the other 3 balls or 2 balls. So yeah, I also think we shouldn't cripple ourselves by all these decisions we are making, because we in the end do not actually know the alternative. We do not know what would have happened if we have chosen, or if we had chosen the other option. So why just, I don't know, take one thing and just let it be it. For sure you can think about it, and for sure you should also think about it. But yeah. Mark Andressen again agrees. Sitting, communication, management, sales, finance, and internalization. Yes, internalization as 5 skills to augment any career. Okay. Ask the thumb question, or the dump question, I'm sorry. Often there is a very basic, very dumb question at the center of a story that no one's asking. Like, why are banks loaning money to people who can't pay it back? Actually a pretty good question. In Austria, they just don't do it. I do know that at least some years ago in America it was differently, through which actually the 2008 crisis happened, if I remember correctly, because they've just loaned such a lot of money to people who weren't able to pay it back, I guess, at least. And there was also some other issue. I know some, I think it's didn't have anything to do with stocks, if I remember correctly, but something quite similar to stocks. Maybe somebody of you knows it. And you can just put it down in the description, not in the description, but into the comments, so that other people also can benefit from your knowledge. Louis von Ahn had an advisor who constantly asked, "I don't understand what you're saying. This forces deeper reflection to realize the concept isn't clear in the speaker's mind." Malcolm Gladwell, this is actually a great point. Malcolm Gladwell's father had zero intellectual insecurities. He will ask the most obvious question without any sort of concern about it. Well, in school it's always something bad, I guess. Even though some just teachers might tell you, okay, it's totally okay to just ask any question what you're having and whatsoever. But in the end, if you're just really asking a dumb question, they're gonna look at you like, "What the fuck are you asking, man?" Which is like, it's just a very, very bad contradiction. But what should you do? We are all human beings. Be vulnerable to get vulnerability. Share some personal info about how you relate to a problem they have or how you're struggling with pressure. This will open up the conversation and help them reciprocate the pain. Usually people think you gain trust first and then become vulnerable, but you can't earn trust without being vulnerable first. I think so as well, and I do also think the whole trust kind of concept, also in terms of actually, okay, you should just, people should earn trust. I think, which is, definitely also something that Gary Vee as well said, and something that I believe, and therefore I'm sharing it. I think it just also makes sense that you're actually giving the trust at first, or you're having trust at first, or you show trust at first, and if people do something fucked up, you're not gonna trust them any longer. So actually, you're trusting them from the beginning on, but if they fail or if they do some dumb shit, you're not gonna trust them any longer. And not like the other way of, okay, you do just have to earn my trust and whatsoever. I don't know. Like, there must be a benefit of the second one, of the bad, quote-unquote one, but I don't know. I think it just also makes sense that you're trusting everyone at first, and then if they just fuck it up, you just don't trust them any longer. Where can you put yourself into an environment that gives maximum exposure to new ideas, problems, and people? Actually a good one, and this definitely comes up to what people you're surrounding yourself with, which is actually this one. This one. And I think, and something that I've realized it just way too late, I guess, but the people around you really fucking matter. They really matter. Enormously. Incredibly. They matter. They really fucking matter. This is something that I've never ever thought about like is actually the case, I only have always heard just the people talking about like, okay, the people around you just really influence you and whatsoever. Maybe I haven't known it or I haven't seen it because I was always surrounded with people that were just nice and great and happy and positive and not negative. So I don't know. I really don't. Maybe I only just see it now because I'm focusing on it and I'm just, trying to see what might not be there even. I don't fucking know. But I'm really seeing now that's, okay, it's definitely there. And I'm definitely seeing something that is there. And, but it's like, okay, if you're focusing on it and if you also focus on, okay, maybe the vocabulary that you're using, the things that you're doing, for sure, some people might get more influenced than other people. For example, I do not get influenced by a lot of things. Like, I really don't. I don't know why, but it's like, I don't get influenced that heavily by the people around me, or at least by their behavior. Because I don't know, maybe because my goal setting is, so strong, or I do have so strong opinions and whatsoever. Because, I think, some things will definitely influence me. Like, I don't want to just debate about it or something. But, for example, like a lot of people around me do just drink alcohol. I don't drink anything. Some people around me do just eat definitely not healthy. I still eat healthy. This might be due to, this is just what I live for, and there's just really such an value of mine that I just really highly value, or something that I just really highly value. Might actually be the reason. I don't know. But I just do not get influenced by it. But I'm just seeing where I've stopped. There. Work in an area where you're not fungible. Fungible, of goods contracted for without an individual specimen being specified, replaceable by another identical. I think replaceable by or replaceable by another identical or identical. Tim Ferriss decided not to be a full-time venture capitalist when Kamal Ravikant told him, people have come up to you crying because they have lost 100 plus pounds. You will never have that impact as a VC, as a venture capitalist. If you don't invest in a company, they will just find another venture capitalist. You're totally replaceable. Email bankruptcy. Tim mentioned this is a bad consequence of his stress, but it is an interesting concept. If your inbox is overwhelmed, you may just need to declare bankruptcy. Bankruptcy, I don't think, don't know if it is actually pronounced rightly. Where all previous emails will go unread. Make sure when you do this that you have good habits to reduce your email load in the future. Avoid a culture of cortisol. There is so much emphasis on being busy and fear of missing out that you can go day to day perpetually anxious. And there really shouldn't be many emergencies in your life. Focus on your big goal and cut out the 20% of things that cause 80% of your unhappiness. Definitely. I think this is actually one of the applications of the 80-20 rule that I have not seen before. And it is actually pretty good, because it is actually like, okay, you only have to cut out 20% of the things that actually make you happiness, because these things actually will just, will actually kind of, how should I say? They actually are gonna, or would have led to the 80% of your unhappiness. Or how they say it, focus on your big goals and cut out the 20% of things that cause 80% of your unhappiness. So basically 20% of the things that actually cause the unhappiness. Yes, they cause. Yeah, okay, makes sense. 3 people to keep watching. A senior you want to emulate, a peer who is better at the work than you, and a subordinate who is doing the job you did better than you did. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with people who are more successful than you are. If you want to be happy, surround yourself with people who are less successful than you are. Well, I don't know if happiness has anything to do, or with being more successful, if this is actually correlated to being less happy. I don't know, but it's again from Naval Ravikant, however he's actually pronounced. I think I should just, look those people up that are always in the summary. Like, they come up pretty often, I have to say. Learning from your future self. Think about a 10-year-old version of yourself. What would that person tell you? So, to actually make it, and would also be great if you do this somehow exercise as well. I think my 10-year-old version would actually say like, okay, be patient and I don't know, like don't cripple yourself and don't put yourself under so much pressure would actually be nice, would really be nice. And I think it would also be nice the other way around. Like if I do just make a video today, and in this video I'm kind of talking about my future self in 10 years. Like I'm doing right now, but on a more kind of just more volume. Would actually be nice, because after 10 years, because I don't know if I would actually kind of delete all the videos here. Even though I kind of stopped with doing the videos, or stopped doing the videos. I don't know. Would I? No, I guess I wouldn't, because there's so much work into this, and I really wouldn't delete everything. Maybe I just put everything in them into private mode or something, so that nobody can see them but me. Could actually be the case. Could actually do that, but yeah, I know. But yeah. So this might be a good way to visualize the best version of yourself and to highlight the things you're good for, good for you but don't currently do. Give away ideas. People love great ideas. Give them ideas and encourage them to do it. The ones you can't give away, maybe the one that you are supposed to do. I suppose if you believe that the best ideas are ones that most people don't find obviously good ideas. I don't know. I think it always comes up to whom you're talking to. If you're really talking to, I don't know, like maybe to Elon Musk, some people that really just took their chances and just took their step actually to do something that a lot of people thought like would not work. I don't know. I think if you're just talking to them, they would probably say, yes, you should be doing it. Unless there's a really, really just, heavy kind of reason why you should not do it. I guess, at least. MMA fighter Marcelo Garcia publishes his sparring sessions and an unusual act since it could give away his strategies. If you are studying my game, you're entering my game and I'll be better at it than you. So Marcelo Garcia publishes his sparring sessions, which is, if I know it correctly, or if I can just interpret it correctly, I guess, which is just, the training fights you're having with other people. Like before the real fight, you're gonna spar with a lot of other people, like with friends, or actually with other people, just with other people, because you can't just box against yourself or MMA fight, or just fight against yourself. Tim Ferriss documents his method because most people will be scared off by the detail. 40% will try it and be worse, and 10% will try it and be better at it, but those will thank Tim for what they have learned and be grateful. They're really gonna be. Early rising. I am up and getting after it by 4:55. Something that I've been telling you. I think today is Monday. I think on Saturday's episode, or actually Friday's episode, something there. Maybe it has been just Thursday's episode. I don't fucking know. I really don't know. But this was definitely something that I've been talking about. So I am up and getting after it by 4:55. 45. I'm very sorry. I like to have the psychological win over the enemy. When I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about the enemy and what they're doing. It's still in my head. There is a guy in a cave somewhere. He's rocking back and forth. He's waiting for me and we're going to meet. When I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking to myself, what can I do to be ready for that moment which is coming? And this one is from Jocko Willink, who is actually the author of Extreme Ownership, which is an extremely great book, an extremely interesting book as well. I've read a part of it, not the whole book, but just a bit of it, and it has really been a really, really, really great book. It really has been a great book. The things that I've read, I've really enjoyed them, because it's based on stories, and I do think I really love stories, I guess, I don't actually know, but I guess it's the case, because I loved How to Win Friends and Influence People so much. I really liked Extreme Ownership and whatsoever, and those both books, and also I've really enjoyed 1984, and also Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and they all just actually have a narrative, or they just really have a story. Like it's based on stories, or they include stories. And I really like those stories. And I do guess by telling stories, or by just hearing stories, I guess we can learn faster, better. I don't know. I don't know, but there must be a reason why we've always been telling ourselves stories. I guess at least. But this is actually going to be the end of the episode. I do have enjoyed the episode in some parts of the episode, but I'm not going to be kind of just perfectionistic. It could have been better in terms of me actually explaining what I think about, but something that I'm going to, definitely going to progress in, I guess. I hope. I do. But in the moment, or in the now, it's okay. I think I'm really doing fine. I don't know. I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with how I talk and how I pronounce things. I guess it's definitely okay. I really think so. But yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you gonna be remembered. And with that being said, I wish you a pleasant journey? Is it from flight? I wish you a pleasant journey. I guess, yeah, I think it is. I've only been flying one time in my life to London, actually. It's been quite great. Really has been. You know, I've really kind of just missed my girlfriend. This was the only problem there. And we were stuck because of the snow and whatsoever. But the city is great, I guess. And I should have enjoyed it actually way more. You know, but I think I'm gonna be there in my life just once again. I hope. I guess. I do. But yeah, thank you very much from the fucking bottom of my heart for watching or listening to this episode. And I'll see you the next time. Hopefully tomorrow, or maybe even today. Maybe you're watching another video or listening to another podcast episode. And with that being said, I see you.